Fuck Deadpool. I have been calling myself God's perfect idiot for 8 motherfucking years. Last year, I did a special called God's Perfect Idiot. It's going well. 6 months after that, I do another special. It's called God's Perfect Idiot, Meaner Than Last Time. 2 weeks ago, I go see the new Deadpool movie, and what do you know? Wolverine's got a line where he says, "You really are God's perfect idiot, aren't you?" Well, guess what? The internet doesn't know how time works. So they're going to see that, they're going to see me, and they're going to think, well, he ripped off Deadpool. I did not rip off Deadpool and Wolverine. I ripped off the first one. Yeah, they're opening credits. First joke, it says starring God's perfect idiot. I saw that 8 years ago, and I guess it receded into my subconscious, and I forgot about it until now. Now, before we get too far into this, got a bit of a disclaimer. Something that I need to address. Last time I did a show, there were some people that complained about it. I know, who saw that coming in America? But the problem that they had, these people did not appreciate how often I named people in my show. So I need to be clear about something. Every person that I name has given me permission to say their name. And as for the people that had a problem with it, look, I understand, but here's where it rubbed me the wrong way. They only had a problem with the people that they knew being named. So this is not a board of ethics. This is self-preservation disguised as morality, and I can't have that. That will not stand. So, now that you know that I have permission to say these names, if you still have a problem with that, here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a pencil. I want you to get a notebook. I want you to write your own hour-long stand-up special, get it approved by a board of directors, advertise it to heaven and back, fill a theater with several people that are willing to give you an opportunity to make them laugh, and on that day, then you can lecture me on how to do my job. I tried being nice. That didn't work. So I'm done holding back. You're welcome. Hello, Embassy Theater. I'm Luke Raible, and I'm bearing it all. Welcome to my shit show. Screamed a little too hard on that one. I don't like being mean. I'm good at it, though. That's the problem. Now, I work around here, work in Cumberland, and the thing is, I love going to McDonald's for lunch every single day. But here's the thing about me eating. Now, this is across the gene pool with all the men in my family. See, we may not be very tall, or smart, or conventionally attractive, or live very long, but damn it, we can eat! So, I go to McDonald's and first I go easy on them. I get something that a regular person orders for a regular amount of lunching. Do that, a couple weeks, lure them into a false sense of security. Then when they think I'm not so bad, bam, dinner for 4 for 1. And after that, I disappear for a little while, make them wonder if I ever existed to begin with, just to come back when the staff turns over and give one of the new kids a chance to talk to the legend. Grew up around here, grew up in Frostburg, 10 minutes away. It sucks. There's nothing to do there. You know what you do for fun in Frostburg? You get in your car and you go somewhere else. Now, my friends and I, we would wander around unsupervised. We were the street urchins of the town. But we were also the upscale street urchins. Were we unsupervised? Yes. Did we have shoes? Yes. But this whole friend group, like, academically we're good to go, but it was also weaponized autism. That whole group is just constant clown shoes. We had no idea what to do to occupy ourselves. We came up with about 3 options. We can start fires, we can shoot puddles with a BB gun after it rains, or we can get lost in the woods. We usually opted for getting lost in the woods. And in the woods, we found this lovely pile of broken glass, and we loved it to death. Every day we go, we gotta go see this pile of broken glass. They added more glass than last time. There's heroin needles in there now, that's neat. And as we got older, our friend group got larger, to the point that we managed to include the one black kid in our class. And we thought, oh my God, he hasn't seen the glass pile yet. We gotta take him to see this. He has to witness this monument to our fellowship. So we take him into the woods, and we lost him. I think he blended in. But, no, not saying that. Yeah, you ever have that moment where you say something that someone didn't like and that person was you? I almost had that. Still have a little bit of a filter. But anyway, me being the little 11-year-old that I am, again, I'm good at school stuff, but the trade-off, those social skills, they didn't make it to that meaty part of the bell curve. So I go, well,
He'll be fine. We can go home. People get lost in here all the time. That's not a problem.
and my friend John came up. God love him, he didn't have to explain this. He goes, okay, Luke, we live in a rural Appalachian area. Bunch of kids go into the woods, and the black kid doesn't come out. That's a problem. I don't want to be on CNN. We need to find him before we leave. Like,
Well, Ben gets lost all the time. You're not worried about that.
Ben is white. That's Unsolved Mysteries on a bad day. We're fine. Grew up with both parents. Apparently that's an accomplishment now. They're an interesting species. See, my parents are like video games. My mom, she's that JRPG that I got at the beginning of my life. She's warm, she's inviting, she's nostalgic. None of the problems that she presents are very difficult to solve. And it's nice. You love your little Pokemon game. It's a good time for you. But as you get older, you cannot shake the feeling that this really isn't growing up with you. Like at all. Case in point, she didn't trust me to reheat my own food. She didn't trust me to put a plate in a microwave and push a button. And I know you're thinking,
She does that because she loves you.
the passive-aggressive comments that I got for 3 hours after that really beg to differ. It's like, okay, we got to find something else. Like, this is nice, but I can't have this all the time. What's at the other end of the spectrum? We got my dad. What's he like? He's that first-person shooter game he got 6 years too early. Everyone is in the trenches screaming. It is gritty. Everyone is angry for some reason. It's got kind of a gray tinge to it. I drop in there. I'm scared shitless. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do here. No one taught me how to do this. Well, I can ask for help. Yes, that'll work. Dads love it when their kids don't know obvious shit. I'll ask for help. Okay. That guy seems less angry than usual. Excuse me, sir. Can you tell me how to shoot this? No one really paid attention. Die Scheiße in meinen Gesicht! And I'm never doing that again. Now these parents, they communicate differently. They plan things differently. I would be in my room, minding my own business, and I'd hear my mom call from down the hall,
Hey, Luke, I need you to come here. I've got an idea.
this sounds like a scam. So I go out there, and she tells me her plan for the day that involves me a lot. This is not a plan. It is half of a concept of an idea. And I tell her, well, you know, Mom, I don't think this is really constituting a plan. And then she does that thing with her eyebrows that I am still afraid of. And next thing I know, I'm driving to a recycling plant because she has to make crab soup. Then you've got my dad. He'll ask me for help with his plans. He doesn't need help. He needs a witness. He has planned everything out himself. It is going to go exactly as he intended because he is God when it comes to his plans. This entire Rube Goldberg of events will play out exactly as he has orchestrated, and he wants someone to be able to tell the tale to anyone that will listen, when frankly I don't give a shit. But they do talk differently. I remember I had this conversation with my mom. I said,
Hey, so why did they get divorced? Well, honey, Sometimes people just have different expectations of each other.
Why is it always the scenic route with you?
What he wanted wasn't what she wanted, and what she wanted wasn't necessarily what he wanted.
Is there a rest stop between now and the point?
You see, honey, back in 1996,
Hey, Dad, why'd they get divorced? She caught him in bed with a man. Thank you. Now, I do like having my mom around. She's very consistent, but there's one exception, and that is when I'm sick. She is very averse to throwing up in any capacity. It was in the wedding vows that my dad would handle all of that nonsense. Sometimes that doesn't go as planned. I would be in the bathroom, and if I even acted like I was about to be sick, she would run down the hall like Will Ferrell in Elf, just eyes covered. Little 6-year-old me is curled around the toilet like a human spaghetti-o, and I am all alone. The only comfort I'm getting is if she puts on a blindfold, earplugs, and gently pokes me with a yardstick to let me know she's still there. And the other part, when I'm sick, very nice lady the rest of the time, but in this instance, she has the gentle touch of a starving copperhead. I am lying in bed, I am sick, and she comes in with soup, and she's already glaring at me like, I know you're fucking faking this. They took my appendix, Jen. There is a hole in my abdominal cavity. Still scared of middle schoolers. Freak me out. See, here's the thing with middle schoolers. They do this thing where they pull their hoods up halfway so they're not technically getting in trouble. We call those ones the 85-pound gang, and they are bloodthirsty little hormonal hobgoblins. And they lay there, just kind of lounging against the wall like a sultan, and they look at you with one eye open. And if they open both eyes, run. Because you are their target. Take off, shit. Close that classroom door behind you, you lock it. You think you're safe, but no, they can crawl under there. Need more evidence of how bad middle schoolers are? One of my math classes, I was in 7th grade. We had an intern. It was her first time teaching, ever. First class she has with us, she started telling us about herself. That was her first mistake, because she showed weakness. She told us that she had epilepsy, and they had to let her know when the fire drills were so she could take her meds. Otherwise, the sounds and the flashing lights could give her a seizure. Okay, think nothing of that. 2 weeks later, it is the last day before Christmas break, and we are beyond saving. You're not getting anything out of us. It is the last class of the day, and this woman decided that she is going to try to exercise authority. And she said,
you know, I can still give you homework over the break.
First response in the back, this kid, yeah, and I can flicker the light, shut up.
Oh my God! This poor woman, she tried so hard. She's looked forward to this opportunity her entire life. And the first time she tries to exercise authority, some deodorant-dodging, Dorito-dusted, chub-chin chuckle fuck makes a threat on her life. But yeah, life goes on. Go home for Christmas break. My dad's interesting when it comes to Christmas. He cracked the Da Vinci Code on this one. This is the shittiest, smartest thing I've ever seen in my life. Here's how he does Christmas gifts. He gets himself something, and you get the hand-me-down. Merry Christmas, son. I bought myself a brand new Xbox. What does that mean? I get the one that we've had for 5 years, that I have been playing with him for 5 years. It has just moved to a suboptimal location. He got my gift today. It is still warm. I know he yanked it out of the wall before I woke up. But at the same time, this is perfect.
He got himself something, but you got something out of it. So you can't really be mad. He walks in December 25th. Merry Christmas, son, I bought myself a TV. You know what that means. Yes, I do. Moving it upstairs by myself. Now, my dad, he's got a pretty nice job, and he knows a lot of people in town. And he decided that we were going to be the one family in America that did reverse nepotism. Like, you got nepotism where the parents help their kids out, give them a lot of stupid opportunities that they really shouldn't have. We got the reverse one. I don't even get the bare minimum here. He's telling people he knows not to hire me because he knows me. I'm here looking for a job, and like, first of all, I can't do anything that he's overseeing to begin with. It's like, okay, well, this seems far enough off the beaten path. They're like, hey, I recognize your last name. You related to this guy? Yeah, he's my dad. Ooh, I'm sorry. I don't think we can hire you. Now, I will say, for a guy that went to that much effort to make sure I didn't have a job, he sure was annoyed when I didn't have one. But it begs the question, what was part 2 of this plan? That's like spending all day picking apples, and you get pissed off because there's apples everywhere. Public school is an interesting time, especially in high school. I never got behind this. You know that DARE program where they bring in the crackheads and they have them tell children how bad their lives are? First of all, I want to know how they got them in there. Because you can't control them. Every time we're in that classroom, we got a resource officer 3 feet away, and the crackhead's just there looking around like a cat with a moth. Like, how'd you lure him in here? Like, did you just come in, you open the door, put a little powdered sugar on the desk as a chaser, see if you can trick them? And then they come in and they tell their stupid stories, and none of it ever made sense. Like, it's always a scare tactic. He just goes, I was 16 and I drank a beer at a party once. Now I wander the streets wearing only a garbage bag and bowling shoes. You skipped something. What else happened? Parents divorced? A lot of people you like die? Scientology? What happened there? My main gripe with my school was, had a lot of pedophiles. The correct amount is 0, and they had more than that. They had more than 1. They had more than 2. And none of them hit on me, so that wasn't great for my self-esteem. I heard that one for the first time, too. But I do remember one of them, they finally busted him, like a year after I graduated. And it was obvious to all of us. It was like, have you seen this thing? Have you seen his greasy bowl cut? How did you not? Okay. And I saw him in public, and for some reason he thought I wouldn't know. So he comes up to me and goes, hey, Luke, how are you doing? I just went, hey, heard you picked up a new hobby. His wife was not happy to hear that in public. My other problem with those schools, they did not know what to do with their money. They would get grant money all the time, and it never went towards the school stuff. We had history books from the 1960s. That is when they were published. And I know that alarm, it's time for a dog to get chicken and pills, isn't it? That means it's 7:30. Where the hell was I? Right. So they're not spending money on anything that they should. And then they finally get this grant of $2 million. I'm thinking, excellent, we can finally get some school books. We already spent it. On what? Well, the football dome needed renovated. My history book ends with JFK getting his dome renovated. I don't know what happens after that. I heard there was a guy called Ronald Reagan. I don't know anything about him. Got a lot of relatives, too. It's fun being in a big family. We'll do reunions every once in a while. And when I say every once in a while, I mean annually, but that feels like a lot. Now, the one on my mom's side, those people are so fun to be around. I've got a great Aunt Eileen. She is 85 years old. She is this tall. She is 80 pounds, and I want to adopt her. She came in. She saw my cousin's new girlfriend, walks up to her, asking her what her name is, and then she says, "Do you like that name?" "Yeah, I do." "Are you sure?" "Well, sometimes I like it." "Well, it's a little late to change it now, isn't it?" And she loves gardening. Talk to her about gardening. You can get a good conversation for an hour and a half. I said, "So is there anything about it that you do have a problem with it?" She goes, "Oh, I hate the stick rats." "What are those?" She goes, "Oh, the deer. I call them stick rats. They eat everything like rats, and they got the sticks on their head." Right? "So what do you do about them?" She goes, "Well, they're not scared of people. You can walk right up to them." I said, "Have you tried shooting them?" She goes, "Honey, I can't shoot a gun." She said, I live within city limits. It's illegal." She said, "Also, honey, look at me. If I shoot that gun, I'm ending up on my back. It's just going to knock me over." I said, "So what do you do?" And she goes, "I hit him with a brick." "What?" She goes, "Yeah, there was one sitting outside my house. I walked right up and I just clocked him." I said, "Did it work?" She goes, "Well, he didn't come back, so I guess he forgot where I lived." Now, there are some relatives that I'm okay with hanging out with them. They're not my favorite, but if there are other relatives that are going to be there, yeah, that's good enough. Go up to Pittsburgh, it's like, okay, like, I'm okay with you, but we never really clicked. Like, I guess I can go visit. Oh, Aunt Peg's going to be there? Really? I'm definitely coming to that. I talked to Aunt Peg. I don't know how old she is. Old enough. And she says, "Honey, I saw that you were doing all that acting stuff, and I thought I would try it, so I signed up for a voice acting class just to find out what it was like." "Oh, how'd that go?" "Honey, I am not making this up. My coach looked at me and she said, 'You know where you could get a lot of work? A sex chat line.'" She goes, "Ain't that funny?" She goes, "She's talking to us about it, and she said, almost everyone on the sex chat line is all old women." She goes, "You should have seen how uncomfortable the guys got. I know what they do in their free time." And she's telling me all these stories, and she goes, "Luke, you're not going to believe this one. This one's so funny. So I had a friend named Bernie. He was in the Navy. He graduated with me, and everyone's like, 'Oh, Bernie's been all over the world. Bernie's just the coolest guy ever.' He had a party on his boat about 6 years ago. Boat flipped over, and he drowned. He never learned how to swim." Ain't that funny? He was in the Navy for 50 years. They never taught him how to swim. I always thought that was illegal. How'd he get in? He goes, "It's his own dumb fault for dying." Something that's always fun is playing game night with my cousins. Because they don't hold back. And they'll just say the first thing that comes to their mind. We play Trivial Pursuit a lot. So far, no one shot each other. But one of the questions that always stood out, it said, "What piece of media did Caitlyn Jenner debut on in 2016? The correct answer was not Chopped, Corey! Kind of wish it was. Oh, buddy, that would have been good. Now, we also do a family reunion with my dad's side just about every year. And this reunion has everyone. Why? Because it is organized by my Aunt Kelly. Boss Kelly has put this together. When Boss Kelly tells you to do something, you fucking do it. Boss Kelly is the first toughest guy you know. So it is all of us. I'm there, my parents are there, got some cousins, our alcoholic brethren who show up only to consume moonshine in ways that leaves us confused for the rest of our lives. And one year, Kelly decided that the drunk gambling debauchery wasn't enough entertainment for her. So she came up with a new game. This game's got some rules. First of all, there's an age requirement. You gotta be between the ages of 18 and 45. Because if you're under 18, you shouldn't be doing this. And if you're over 45, you're not doing this. So it's a relay race. You get your teams, and they get a balloon. You blow it up, you tie a knot in it, you tie a string around it, and you tie that balloon around your waist so the balloon is hanging thusly. You are in a line. There is a chair in front of you. You bend over the chair like so that balloon is right in front of Main Street. The person behind you has to pop that balloon using only their hips. Your imagination is serving you correctly. Now, I was over 18, so I had to play, but how do I put this? I haven't practiced yet. So my attempt looked much more like the Heimlich maneuver, which was brought to my attention when my cousin Zach yelled, "Breathe, darn you!" Now, it took me a couple tries, finally popped it. Good for me. Now it's my turn. Assume the position. Then my cousin Travis comes up behind me, puts his hands on my hips. "Clench your butt cheeks, Luke!" And I don't remember anything after that. Come from a football family. I'm not into football. It's never really been my thing. I don't get into it. There was one time I paid attention, and that was the year that the Redskins decided they were going to change their name because Twitter got mad at them. Now, the reason I paid attention is because some nutjob saw this coming and bought and trademarked every name that they might choose. It got so bad they went with Washington football team for a year. That's why that happened. Now, eventually they settled on Washington Commanders. You know, good for them. That's fine. But I really think they missed the opportunity to go by the Washington Foreskins. Oh, come on, that would have been a commentator's dream. Well, it looks like they had a wrinkle in their defense. Well, you see here, Terry, Washington got circumcised by the Steelers. Streaming on ESPN Plus this summer, Washington is Coming, Uncut Edition. Also grew up with a bunch of my cousins. We would play football in the backyard. I don't know anything about it. Cousin Zach would be trying to help me out. He said, "Okay, Luke, you're going to be a quarterback." And I'm 7 years old. I'm like, "I don't know what that means." Okay, you're going to hold the ball and you're going to throw it to me or you're going to throw it to Jeffrey. Now, there are going to be cousins blocking us and there's going to be one blocking you. Think you can do that? Okay, sure. So I'm standing here. Zach's over here. Jeffrey's over here. There's a cousin there. There's a cousin there. Who's guarding me? He's 180 pounds of pure muscle. On the field, they call him the Bear. Oh, Mother of God. Okay. Hut! Oh, God in the clips, and the Bear is on top of me. Well, that didn't work. And Zach said, "Okay, Luke, now you are going to be the receiver. I'm going to throw the ball. You're going to try to catch it." Okay, sounds good. So he throws it to me. I actually caught it. Holy shit, I actually caught it. So I start going to where I'm supposed to go, and there's the Bear. Other way! And Zach yells at me, "Luke, you need to go that way so we can score. Don't care, I'm gonna live." A couple years ago, my youngest cousin finally graduated high school. And we decided, you know, we've got everyone here. Why don't we play a football game one last time? It's gonna be the youngest, and he can pick the team that he wants. The stipulation, he's going to face me, all of his brothers, and all the other cousins that he grew up with. And our team was so stacked. We had the Bear, we had Zach, we had the widest receiver, we had everybody. What are we up against? Bunch of spaghetti-armed starter beards with yee-yee-ass haircuts. How the fuck did we lose to them? I'll tell you how. Yes, we had more experience, but none of that experience was in the last 12 years. We are not ready for this. We start running along, first instinct, "I'm fabulous." Minute later, "This isn't going so good." Minute after that, "Dear God, what have we done?" A lot of people think I'm gay. I'm not. You know, I don't blame them. My friends followed me around with a clipboard for years. "So you're going to be a theater major. Okay. You willingly went through all of high school without a girlfriend. Okay. You memorized the Wicked soundtrack. That's another one for homo bingo. But no, straight as the arrow that shot me to earth, but I still run into another problem. I'm man pretty. Let me explain. I was in a class at college where my teacher gave us a bunch of flyers and had every type that you could be cast as. Jock, intellectual, comic relief, nerd, whatever. She said, you're going to hand these to people. They're going to circle everything that they could see you playing, and then you're going to tally it up and it'll give you an idea of what parts you should go for. Okay, sounds good. So I hand them out, get them back, and everything's kind of playing how I thought it would be. One thing stood out. 8 people circled hot. Obviously, I don't have a problem with that. I just wish it wasn't exclusively men who said it. The number of guys that have tried to kiss me is not 0. They hit on me more than the pedos did, so that's something. Now, near the end of my time in college, I thought, let's see if I can help some of these new kids come up. And to get into the acting track, you have to do an audition. You got to prove that you can accomplish something. So I'm helping them out with it, like I had to do it too, but here's what stood out to me. They had a couple of rules here of what not to do at this audition. 2 of those rules were because of me specifically. No stand-up comedy and no original material. See, the first time that I did that audition, I was still a senior in high school. And what I knew was I had to do a funny monologue and I had to do a serious one, show that you have some kind of a range. I went to my teacher at the time and I said, so what do you think I should do here? And he said, well, for the funny one, you could probably do your stand-up comedy. I think that one would go over pretty well. Based on the first rule, it did not. And he said, as for the serious one, listen, anyone can mimic what somebody else has already done. I think it's much more impressive if you can come up with your own material and showcase that. Right, okay, so what can I do here? Well, what's something sad that I could do? I'm pretty close with my cousin Zach. I guess it's sadder if he's my brother. All right, I'll tell him he's a first responder and he died on a call. I don't fucking know. So I do the audition, don't get in, think nothing of it. Until 2 years later, I'm in a show, I'm rehearsing, and it's a very emotional scene, and I cannot get myself to cry to save my life. And my teacher, Mersey, she goes, Luke, you need to pull from something. Like, I don't have anything to pull from. Yes, you do. Well, you're going to have to tell me what it is, because I don't know. That story you told us about your brother dying? What? During the audition, you said you had a brother dying. Mersey, I'm an only child. Yeah, we know. That's how you cope. No. I made that up for the audition. You guys spent 2 years thinking I had a dead brother? Well, we didn't know you were acting. That sounds like a damn good performance to me. And you still didn't let me in? What the hell, lady? I've got a niece and a couple of nephews. They're fun kids. But my niece lives around here, so she's the one that I spend most of my time with when I have free time. That kid is a trip. She is a Disney kid. Now, I'm not a Disney kid. I know nothing about it. If Jurassic Park isn't a Disney movie, I'm not interested. And I'm babysitting her the one day. And I don't have Disney Plus. That's not something I spend my money on. I've got Peacock. We can watch Shrek. That's what we're dealing with. So we get about 20 minutes in, and she goes, I don't want to watch this. I said, okay, honey, what do you want to watch? Elsa. We don't have Elsa. Rapunzel. We don't have Rapunzel. Elsa. You already said that. We still don't have it. She just looks at me for a second, and she goes, are you poor? Yes. That's got nothing to do with it. And later on, we were at her birthday party. She had turned 3. I thought, now's a good age for me to start subtly messing with her. So I sit down beside her and I go, Piper, I was 3 years old once. You have any questions for me? She looks me in the eye like she knows my sins. She goes, "Are you afraid to die?" Jesus of Nazareth, I am now. I would also like to take her to the playground every once in a while. That's fun. But I got to tell you, there are other people that you run into at the playground. Now, I don't know what kind of parents any of you are, but if you are the kind of parent where you take your kid to a playground and you release them into the wild like a baby sea turtle while you sit on the bench and play on your phone, congratulations. You're a piece of shit. Because now, the people like me that actually want to spend time with the kids, I got to babysit yours. I'm trying to have a lovely time with my niece, and there's this base-jumping toddler climbing up there like an orangutan, and then just dive-bombing me. I got to catch him, and I got to keep an eye on this other kid that I'm supposed to be watching. And, you know, after an hour, like, my niece is getting tired, so I pick her up, start taking her to the car, and from the bench waddles this overweight ham planet of a woman, draped in purple like a sentient eggplant. And I thought, okay, this is the part where you pay me for the babysitting, right? No. She thought I was stealing a kid. Now, when I get angry, I have a tendency to not remember what I said. This is one of those times where there are bits and pieces. What I do remember was turning my niece to face her and saying, "This is my kid, you apple-shaped frump. Yours is over there cramming mulch up his nose. They just have the same jacket. Please, fuck off." That kid's got some bad influences. I mean, she's growing up in a very different environment than I did. I mean, me and all my cousins, we spent our time at the geriatric jamboree. That is when we spent all day with our grandparents instead of going to preschool. It's always an interesting experience. See, my Nana, she could slow any song to a funeral march, and she would change the words so that she could say whatever she wanted. First 10 years of my life, I thought Highway to Hell was Highway to Home, and I thought it was a lullaby. Then he got Pappy. He was trying to clean up his army stories for us. I know everything he did with those machine hugs and fun throwers. Kind of got a bad card dealt to me when it came to genetics. I mean, I've been losing my hair a little bit since I was 20, and it's frustrating because it's very gradual. It can't make up its mind. It is just a slow assault on the front lines, and my problem is it's all in the front. I have the male pattern mullet. Back, track star. Front, accountant. Genetically, I also have a pretty bad face. I don't have a cool face. It doesn't look badass at all. A person with a cool face gets a scar, their face just looks cooler. I get a scar on my face, everyone's like, "Oh, he got that building a birdhouse with Nana, didn't he?" I've also got ADHD. That was a fun thing to find out. Now, here's the thing that I found out about it. It's on the autism spectrum, but it's not good enough. It's the Diet Coke of autism. There's 1 calorie to it. We're special needs, but we don't get that little guard on the seatbelt that warns the first responders that we're going to bite them. So now it's my fault if I do. I'm in therapy. Couldn't figure that out. Yeah, I found out I had PTSD with 30 unique flavors to it. But the one that stood out to me, the symptom was depression. And my therapist, he said, "All right, here's what we can do. We can give you antidepressants." Okay, that'll help for the depression. What's the plan for the rest of it? Nothing. But there are like 29 other things. Yes, and we can help the depression. Okay, Jimmy, let me explain something to you. Imagine I have lung cancer, and you're giving me cough syrup. You're not curing the cancer. You're curing the thing that made it noticeable. I'm still dying. It's just easier for me to hide it now. I also feel bad for that man because I derail every session I have with him. He was the first person to hear anything from this show. And every time he's like, yes, that's a very interesting story about the pedophiles leaving you alone. But have you thought recently about killing yourself? Dude, that was 2 weeks ago. Will you move on? My family doesn't like that joke. But I do, so it's staying. Another thing that helps me out, I help out with my church. It's a nice church. Mainly help out with the youth group, help out with the kids. I have to censor myself so goddamn much. I would love to cuss up a storm in front of those things, but I can't. And they come up to me and they tell their stupid stories, and I gotta pretend I'm invested, and when they're done, I say, goodness gracious, like a 1950s housewife. That loosely translates to, what the hell is wrong with you little shitwits? Now, there is a little bit of a bend of reality that I have to do there. On the one hand, we've got these kids saying things that they really shouldn't be saying. And on the other hand, you've got me trying to stop them from saying those things. And we have to merge them in such a way where I can get them to knock it off without telling them why. Like, yes, Wyatt, it is very impressive that you can swallow a mozzarella stick whole, but for the love of God, stop telling everyone that you're deep-throating it! One of the sermons that stood out to me, our pastor at the time was talking about how one of the things that the Bible says is that as a Christian, you should be very forthcoming in sharing your faith, because if you do it with a pure heart and pure intentions, God will protect you. Which begs the question, why are church people so bad at doing that? Well, here's the thing. You've got to look at it from that perspective. Like we've been building to this for a while. This is everything we've been wanting to get out of this relationship if we could. And we're finally at that place. We're finally at the point where we can try to initiate it. We can finally get it to go. Everything's going fine. We're feeling good about ourselves. But when it's time to get in there and do it, just can't rise to the occasion. We call that the Gentile dysfunction. I love telling that joke because based on who laughs, I instantly know who goes to church. As for the rest of you godless heathens, I hope you like the heat. That's where you're headed. Another thing that stands out to me about church is the idea of wearing church clothes. Because everyone's always going on with, like, God says, come as you are. Then why do you keep insisting I dress for prom on Sunday? I show up there in a t-shirt and sweatpants, and you know what? I am doing that church a favor. All these other couples that are dressed to the nines to show how good they are at being married, I know iniquities have been building up for over a week. I know that everything is going to blow up at brunch. Someone's getting a salad thrown at him. I know it's going to happen, but they see me and that all melts away because they can come together and talk about what a bad churchgoer that man is. And then they go to lunch and all the problems are gone. I just saved your marriage, bitch. You're welcome. Got a job at a grocery store once. Not a good one. Not at all a good one. Imagine a good grocery store like Martin's or Walmart. Now imagine its cancerous cousin with extra chromosomes. That's where I was. It is my first day, and Frostburg's finest is already coming up. This guy comes up to me. I've been there 20 minutes. I don't even know what my name tag looks like. It was, all right, so I have a question. Yeah, what's up? So, the sign over there says 3 bell peppers for $3. Yeah, 3 for 3. So, why is 1 bell pepper $1? Is this a riddle? Basic math would dictate this, sir. And then you got a customer. I had this old lady come in. She's pushing a cart. And she is old, very old. She looked like a ghoul. Like the first question that came to my mind was, how long have you actually been dead? She walks up and she goes,
Excuse me, but could you lead me around the store and hand me everything that I need?
and why's that?
Well, I can't see anything because I'm blind.
You're blind?
Yes.
How did you get here? Now, I'm a firm believer that you can have the worst job in the world and your coworkers can get you through it if you like them. But sometimes it's hit or miss. Sometimes you have a coworker where they start talking to you and you just can't shake that thought of, you poisoned me. I can feel myself dying the more you talk. And every once in a while, I would just have enough. Like I'm there at the register, I'm having a bad day, and this woman with nothing behind the eyes that I work with, she just locks on and she's coming towards me. Like, you better back your ass up! Walk away, Pam! Just walk away! They would also get new inventory at that store every once in a while. One time, they got a fruit called a rambutan. We're handing it out, trying it. No one's ever seen this thing before. Really weird. It kind of tasted like kiwi, but it was all white. They're like, hey, you're not supposed to eat the seeds. And I'm like, well, too late. I just about swallowed that thing whole because I really like kiwi. So I'm there minding my own business, running the register as I do, cussing under my breath. And my manager goes, Luke, can you come over here for a minute? So turn off the light so the village people will leave me alone. Walk on over. Hey, Rhonda, what's up? He goes, here's the deal, sir. We might have poisoned you. Yeah, the reason you're not supposed to eat a rambutan seed is because there is a strong hallucinogenic property that they usually use for narcotics. And my manager's like, so you feel all right now? You think you're doing okay? Yeah, I'm good. You're not feeling funny at all? No, I'm doing good. Okay, well, if you do start feeling weird, let us know. We'll send you home. We'll get you paid for the full day because it's our fault that this happened. Okay, no problem. You want me to go back on the register? I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't want you hallucinating, freaking out the customers. Can you just go in the parking lot and get carts? Yeah, sure. So I go out there, and my first thought was, how is this better? Controlled environment 20 feet away from you. Open world with moving vehicles and pollen. So I'm moving all the carts, being nice about it, being classy like that. About halfway through, I thought, you know, they did say they'd pay me for that whole shift. Are they really going to check to see if I'm actually hallucinating? So I went back in. Those doors open, I go in, they close behind me, and I just went. My coworker came up, Luke, you okay, man? They're coming. I'm okay. I was scheduled 10 to 4 that day. I was home no later than 12:45. Then eventually they started bringing in self-checkouts, because fuck me, right? Yeah, the average age there is 85. These people are in no interest to learn something new or see anything new or experience anything new. They live their life, they're done. They're just waiting it out. God won't take them back. And I got to watch these things. And the big problem was they replaced every register except one with a self-checkout. So there is one actual register with a cashier at it, and the line always runs to the back of that store. And it's because the guy in charge of running that, he had one speed and it was slow. That critter, and I have to call him that because I don't think that was a man. His eyes were a little too far apart. Granted, he was the glue that held us all together, you know, sticky, like his general appearance. We got this whole line, and corporate's like, okay, we got a strategy. First, you're going to ask them if they want to do it. Okay, well, we know that doesn't work. What's next? Then, you are going to offer to help them with it. And when that inevitably fails, you offer to do it for them. All right, fine. So there's the line, and it's all old people, so I got to pick one. See my target. Lock onto him. Get on up there. This guy is old. How old? This is his last grocery run. After this, no mas. If he visits a cemetery and that visit lasts more than 11 minutes, not much point in him going home. So I walk up to him. Hello, sir. Would you like to use the self-checkout? Shove it up your ass. I can help you with it. I'm not going up there. This is a solid protest. I'm not going. You know, I can do it for you if you'd like. I told you to go to hell. I'm already there. Let me ask you something. You ever been accidentally racist? One morning I was there, I got to watch the self-checkouts, and this black lady comes up, and she starts scanning all of her stuff. And I got to keep an eye on this in case this thing starts beeping or smoking or catches on fire again. And as she's scanning everything, she gets about halfway through and she just goes, just stares me down. When she's done, she comes up, I want to talk to your manager. Yeah, I hate it here too. Welcome to the club. So I go, hey, Melissa, can you call Steven up? Yeah, no problem. So my manager, Steven, comes up. Hi, my name is Steven. How can I help you? Without skipping a beat, this employee's a racist. Hold up. I made sure he came out of the woods. So Steven, knowing the situation at hand, takes this customer to a second location for two reasons. One, you take them somewhere that they didn't start at, they feel important, so they're less likely to freak out. The other reason, and the most important one, is I was about to say something that I wouldn't regret, but Steven definitely would. So they're in front of the security camera, and I can see on the big screen what's going on. I've never seen someone so animated in my life. This woman's dancing all around them like a cross between Swan Lake and cerebral palsy. I don't know if she was casting a hex on us or what was going on. So she kept that up 20 minutes, an hour, and eventually off she fucked. And then Steven walks up to me, and he is already just dead behind the eyes. He comes up and he goes, don't look at people, I don't fucking know. Yeah, we quit like 20 minutes after that. Bought a sorry for your loss card. I wrote, this is my 2 weeks notice, love Luke, with a red crayon, and rode off into the sunset. Learned that trick from my cousin Zach. Learned a lot of things from him. It's almost like he's alive or something. One time he tried to teach me how to play poker. There's a travesty. See, I'm there with him and all the other cousins. I've got the cards, it's like, well, this isn't working. So I fold, nope, that's not working, fold. And Zach's dealing, so he looks at him after I fold, and one time he just goes, from now on, you're not allowed to fold unless I say you can. All right. So I start going through, he's coaching me through it after a couple rounds. Okay, think you can do this on your own? Yeah, no problem, man, I'm good. So we start playing. He deals me in. Everything is going good. Yeah, I've got good cards. Up the ante. He folds. Up the ante again. He folds too. Now it's just me and one more cousin with Zach dealing. And with all the grandiosity I can muster, I put down my cards. Full house! You got 2 8s, dickhead. Oh, then I lost bad. When I was in high school, the chorus and the band got invited to Disney World. We were going to sing and perform in their candlelight processional. Now the deal was, with all the parks, we had to go to a different park each day. We had to be there when it opened, and we couldn't leave until it closed. Because there were like 120 of us, and there were 6 teachers that could actually come, and they couldn't watch all of us. So we're in our parks. We're getting tired. We're hating every second of this. 3 days in, we're at Magic Kingdom. I'm there with my friend Patrick. It's getting late, sun's starting to go down. We thought, well, let's try out the Hall of Presidents. So we go in there. That was an interesting experience. Like they're going through every notch of U.S. history. Then it just suddenly stops after we jammed our flag in the moon. It said, history ended with JFK. After that was a mistake. So we get out, got about 40 minutes till the park closes, and it's dark now. And I said to him, all right, so what else do you want to do? He said, I got to hit Space Mountain while I'm here, and I would love to hit Splash Mountain if we can. So I pull the app up on my phone, and I look at it. I said, oh, dude, every wait time is an hour and a half. I said, all right, I've got an idea. Reaches into his backpack. He puts on a pair of sunglasses, and he looks at me. He said, we're going to skip the lines, because your friend's blind and he can't see. You son of a bitch, I'm in. So I'm walking him up to Space Mountain, and he's selling this. Like, he's hanging onto the inside of my arm, just going. So I get up there, we get up to the park attendant, I go, excuse me, my friend's blind. I don't think he's going to be able to navigate through there. Is there anything you can do to help us? She stares at us for a solid 3 minutes. She goes, come with me. leads us halfway around the ride. She goes, this is the fast pass entrance. Go through, it's a straight shot to the ride, you'll do fine. Oh, cool, thank you so much. He goes, yeah, no problem. I'll radio the other attendants, let them know you're around. Okay, thank you. So we get on the ride, and I don't know what Patrick thinks blind people are like, but he just assumes they don't have emotions, because every picture on every ride, he's sitting there like stone-faced MacGyver. So we're going through, having a grand old time. We get on all these rides. This is no longer tomfoolery. This has been promoted to Thomas fuckery. Like, I know this is illegal. And these people are getting out of our way like the Red Sea for Moses. I went, dude, they are buying this. He goes, we gotta sell it. I go, okay, I told you not to leave your walking stick at the hotel. I didn't think I would need it. I'm sorry about the fireworks. I didn't know they were gonna do that. They sounded amazing. And there's the exit. We're on our way out. 40 yards, 30 yards. Things are going great. And the crowd's doing that thing where you look at the disabled and then you look away and you look at the disabled and you look away and like, take a picture, he's blind. That's clearly what we're pretending here. We're just about out, and behind us I hear, Patrick Godfrey! Yeah, his mom was one of the chaperones. So he takes off running, like he's weaving in and out of a sea of people. He jumps over a hedge, around a tree twice just to show off. He's over a rock, he's out the door, and everyone just went. And then they look at me, just went, hallelujah, he can see, and I took off after him. Now I got another amusement park story. See, after spending enough time with Zach, he's done a lot for me. Taught me how to ride a bike, taught me how to drive, so I took him to King's Dominion. He drove. Took him there, just as a payback kind of deal. Now, I'm not used to going to amusement parks with people that aren't my parents. I'm not used to Zach's laid-back lifestyle towards wandering around an amusement park. I'm used to following my dad, where he's driving. He's like, all right, I'm going to run him over. We got to get in here to save time. Dad, they're smiling. Good, they'll die happy. So the one ride that I desperately wanted to get on was called Intimidator 305, and Zach has no concept of how height works. So he's pointing at all the roller coasters. Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Is that it? Nope, 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 nope. Then he finally sees it. Well, he saw the one in front of it. He goes, all right, I think I found it. I go, yep. I put my hand under his chin. There it is. And his smile just went. We are walking towards this ride, and the good times have ended. He is silent. And we're in line for this, and I gotta bring up the dichotomy here. Over here, we've got this 6-foot burly mustachioed gentleman who hundreds of times has seen the light leave man's eye. He's on the verge of tears. Over here is his Irish Travelocity gnome of a cousin brimming with excitement. So we get on the ride and we start going up the hill, and he's still silent. I'm like, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. We get to the top of the hill and we start to crest over. And then I hear, you son of a bitch! Down we go! Now on the way back home, we decided to get some food. Found a Mexican restaurant. Damn it. There was a laminated menu on yellow paper. There are no words. There are pictures of the food. Everything arrived on paper plates and styrofoam. And we knew this is going to be the best meal of our fucking lives. So we're eating it all, we're having a good time, we are both inspiring fear. We're having a lovely time just sitting there after the food settles, and then I feel the rumbling. The gurgle guts are upon me. There is one bathroom, it is at the end of this long hall, and like it is instant. Like I am getting the poop sweats. Like you ever try to hold in a poop and you just start sweating because your body's like, I don't know what's happening here, I think it's a heart attack. That's what's happening to me. I'm going down this hall and I am clenched like I'm ready to crush coal into diamonds with my sphincter. I feel it detonating in me, just boom, 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 boom. I'm halfway there, I'm dilating, I can feel it, it's coming. I get in there and it is time for my metamorphosis. I have never sat down on a toilet that fast in my life. And that was one of the worst crappin' cries of my entire existence. I'm in there for 30 minutes farting and crying. And when I'm done, it is an island. So I finally get up, having made peace with my God, push down on the handle, nothing happens. Push down again, nothing happens. Oh no. Like, well, I gotta let someone know here. Now, if you remember that menu, these people don't speak a whole lot of English. So I walk up to the first guy that I can find. I got no idea how to gesture, so I just went, El baño, el baño. So he follows me in there, and I point to it, I push the handle, and it flushed. I invited this poor immigrant to attend a funeral for my shit. Hope you have a good intermission. Thank God some of you actually bought alcohol. They were complaining about that. They weren't, but I like hearing myself talk, if you couldn't tell. So, started going to college, and I thought, now seems like a good time to try some of those social skills that my friends kept telling me I didn't have. And that first day, it went really well. I made 5 new friends in 20 minutes. I don't know who was paying them, but I made 5 new friends. One of those friends stands out. Her name's Denise. See, she grew up in the same area as I did, so she knows some of the people that I know. But she knows them differently than I do. I go up and talking to her. Oh, you know Patrick? Yeah, I went to a New Year's party. Oh, cool, he's my best friend. Oh, nice, I've known him for a couple of years. I committed a felony with him. What? But the main experience that week, she was talking about someone that both of us knew. However, because of talking to Denise, I know him differently. I know that Denise used to go out with this person. And I think nothing of it until I'm at work that night. I'm there at the register, and over comes this person. And the whole time, scanning his stuff, I'm just thinking, don't ask about his ex-girlfriend, don't ask about his ex-girlfriend, don't ask about his ex-girlfriend, Denise. How's your ex-boyfriend? Shit! While I was in college, I also found out that humor is subjective. I know, it only took 19 years. I was hanging out in some common area with a bunch of my friends, Chris, and Chris. All 3 of them are black, and all 3 of them are hanging with me, just not really paying attention. TV's on, and they're airing their Halloween episode of The Price is Right. Everyone there is wearing costumes. And they go in the audience, they call down some contestants, and it's this lovely black couple. The guy's dressed as Batman, and his wife is dressed as Catwoman. And my friend Chris looks up and goes, bro, that is a great Batman costume. So I look up and I went, no, black man. Reactions across the board. My friend Chris, I have never seen him laugh that hard in my life. That was the highlight of his 4 years in college with me. My friend Chris, he went, that's funny. And then there was my friend Chris, and he went, it's not a bad joke. I just don't think it's funny. All right, duly noted. It's okay. Still friends with 2 of them. Wasn't because of that. Chris was just a jerk. The other thing I notice about comedy is it's kind of changed over the years. There are certain jokes that people would make all the time, and now people are terrified of even mentioning them. I'm not terrified of mentioning them. So there was a cartoon that came out a while back called Hong Kong Phooey. It was about this dog that dressed up as an Asian man to fight crime. He would attack a criminal and he would yell slanty-eyed flying rice paddy kick. Now here's where it gets good. The actor who played that character was black. And that joke was written by a woman. Now you don't know who to be mad at, do you? Probably me, because I'm the one that brought it up. I'm single. I decided while I was in college, now's a good time to try my hand at some relationships. Maybe a relationship. Here's the kicker, though. I believe that there is a right person for everyone. But there is also the left person. See what happens, you're looking for the right person and you spend 20, 40 years trying to find him and you don't find the right person, so then you settle for whoever's left. Now I'm not at that point of settling yet, so I'm trying to find someone that'll go out with me. But here's the thing, there is a range for the girls that you can find here. On the one end, perfect 11 out of 10, drop dead gorgeous, I forget my name when I'm talking to them. But there's a trade-off. When you are that good looking, you don't have to build a lot of skills for anything else. You're used to getting your way just because you're pretty. And I can't carry these conversations. Like I'm sitting there with her, so did you like the selfie I posted? Yes, I loved the lighting, it really brought out the narcissist in your eyes. So that only works for so long. Other side of the spectrum, you got the piñata girls. Beautiful on the inside. But I need a blindfold for this one. So eventually, found someone that was willing to go out with me. And it was nice, not a bad relationship. One issue stood out. She was very interested in the physical aspect of the relationship. Now, I'm 19 years old. I don't have any experience with relationships from middle school or high school. None of those trial things where you find out just so you can get a sense of what you're like. So I'm very much along for the ride. I don't know what's going on here. And this girl, she got me to go down that rabbit hole pretty quick, and I said it like that on purpose. But you got to understand, like, the moral fight for any sort of willpower here. It's like a cage match in my head. In this corner, we have my morals and principles. They've been the reigning champion for 19 years. And in this corner, a mouth that could suck the chrome off a doorknob. I don't like your odds, buddy. Now, so eventually that relationship petered out, but I didn't like how that relationship went. I had PTSD. I had post-traumatic sex disorder. So I do what any reasonable man does in this situation. I overcorrect the fucking problem. Who am I dating next? This girl's asexual. What does that mean? Asks anyone over the age of 30. Well, what that means is that this person, for whatever reason, is not interested in sex, any sort of sexual activity, anything along those lines. And it could be for a wide array of reasons. They just don't like it, they think it's gross, Catholic Church, whatever. So I'm dating this girl and things are going well for a while, but you know, when your only experience was what I had beforehand, you really get that thought of, there's not a whole lot to do after day 3, is there? So eventually that relationship fell through. Not because of the asexual thing, it's because my appendix ruptured, I had to have that removed, and she ghosted me 2 days after that. I think she likes guys with all their internal organs, I don't know. But that was going to be an issue at some point. See, relationships are like baseball games. You got the 4 bases. French kiss, feel, finger, slide into home. That first relationship, there was no outfield. I'm up to bat, crack a dinger, I run straight to second base, realize I missed first base, go back to first base, go to second base, go to third base, set up camp there for about a month, and eventually slide into home. This game's a little different. Home plate doesn't exist. And all the outfielders are lined up between third and second base, and they are holding shotguns. And this whole time I'm going through the relationship, I couldn't shake this thought. I could be the best player in the world and at no point will I score. Like, nothing wrong with the asexual people. That's fine, do what you want. It's just not for me. It's not my thing. So I dated another one of those. Well, this one was different. She was interested in some stuff, but it had to be on her terms. That was the caveat. This is a problem that I think the guys relate to. Are you ever in a situation where the girl's got her hands all over you and you know where this is going, and she finally gets the hands on the old Shazul and it feels like Shrek's hands? Let me put this into perspective. So what we're doing here is, it's like a concert. I erected a lovely hardwood stage for you to perform on. And we've got two acts. First is Hootie and the Blowfish. Stay with me here. Before Pink Floyd comes out. Now, I'm happy with either one of these on any given day. 2 in one night, that's the performance of a lifetime. Now imagine before this concert starts, a very callous carpenter comes out with his belt sander, sees the hardwood that you have erected, and just grinds it down! The other thing that stood out was I ended up getting a hickey from this girl, only once. But there was at a time where it's like, I'm not interested in telling people this story. It was right here, like my shirt collar just barely covered it. It's like, okay, what can I do here? Because I know I got family dinner coming up. So I get there, I'm talking to my cousins. And I thought, well, the best way to not hide it is to point it out. So it was like, hey, how'd you get that? They're like, how'd you get that? You get a girl like, no, I was playing with my cat and she got all bitey and she bit me here and I guess it popped a blood vessel. So he busts out laughing. He goes, yeah, that makes more sense than you having a girlfriend. Thanks. Why is that more believable than what actually happened? I encountered a lot of girls in my life, most of them at college. I've learned that sometimes you should keep your mouth shut when a girl says something to you. Here's my best example. I was at a party in college. One of these girls that I'm friends with came up to me. She's a little tipsy. And she starts shaking her hips. She goes,
I'm a future trophy wife.
I went, yeah. A participation trophy wife. Something else I learned is a friend group of guys can end up going for the same girl. And when that happens, it is much like a poker game. So we've got the girl here. She's dealing. I'm sitting here. I've got a friend over here. I've got a friend over here. The dealer really wants this friend to win. And at the same time, the dealer really doesn't want this friend to win. I don't know what's going on here. I'm distracted by the waitress who keeps bringing me free drinks. So she's dealing out the cards, and she's dealing them face up. Like, this guy's getting a royal flush. You can see it coming. All he has to do is play the cards, and he wins. Guy over here, he's got absolute shit. Eventually, he figures that out and folds. You can see the dealer is delighted. Now, this guy's got the full royal flush. I haven't even looked at my cards. I'm like, all right, buddy, it's all you. He folds. He doesn't want to win this game. He's going to go play with that dealer over there. I'm like, okay, well, let's see what I have. 2 8s. Oh, it's a full house. Huh. Well, so I won the game. So she takes me by the hand, leads me to the prize room, and I see the prize in all of its glory. It's beautiful, it's radiant, literally symmetrical, but nothing to be concerned about. And as I'm about to take that prize, jeez Louise, I wanted to take that prize. I couldn't shake this thought. At no point did she want me to win. I was just the last one playing. I don't know if she's the right person for me, but I'm the left person for her. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do my best here to start a boundary for the first time in my life, and I said no. It's like, I appreciate this prize, it's very nice, good God, is it nice, but I'm gonna have to pass. And when you do one of those character moments, you feel great about yourself. You're walking out of there like you overtipped by $200 at a restaurant. Yes! No one is greater than I am! Truly a kinder soul does not exist! On the way home, not so much. It's when you realize how much money you just gave away. You guys can sit down, by the way. You don't have to stand at the back. Come on.
Trying to be polite. The bear has crippling nicotine addiction.
Now they know who you are and they know your problems. Nice work. Yeah. Got a couple of jobs that I've done in my life. One of them was at a Goodwill store. Oh, good. Some of you already heard. My job was I'm going through the clothes donations with my hands. People donate the strangest things that science cannot explain. I'm going through here. Now, I don't want to judge anyone, but I would love to know who the down horrendous motherfucker was who donated a pair of Spider-Man leggings with the crotch cut out. I don't need to know how you get your jollies. I don't care that your threesome had 2 no-shows, and I trust you will forgive me for not shaking your hand, as I know what event inspired you to visit your extended family. Uncle Harry and the twins are not making an appearance. I'm good. I had a manager there named Jack. Super fun guy, loved him to death. He had the darkest sense of humor. He came up to me and goes, "Luke, I got a funny story for you that I haven't told you yet." He goes, "So, my uncle, last Christmas, he drove to Oklahoma and he killed himself." How's that funny? Because a year later, my dad did the same thing. Now, heard that story, kind of just wrote it off. Then the next day, Jack didn't come into work. He didn't come in the day after that. And he didn't come in the day after that. And around lunch break, I'm starting to get nervous. And right before I leave, he came in. I went, "Oh, Jack, thank God! I thought you went to Oklahoma!" Don't worry, I paid for that one. Watch. So one of my times at Goodwill, I'm donating the clothes as I do, going through everything. And one time we had a bin where it looked like someone just dumped their entire spice rack in here. Like, okay, well this has crap on it, so I can't sell this. Nope, in the trash. After about 20 minutes, I started feeling a little weird. My hands started feeling tingly, getting kind of dizzy, everything's kind of foggy, getting a bit of a headache. So I called Jack over, and he says, "All right, we're going to fill out an incident report, so come with me." Now, I don't remember filling out this incident report. But here's what Jack said. First off, he had to fill it out for me because I couldn't remember my birthday and I spelled my name wrong twice. My name's 4 letters. He also said at one point he was writing down the details of what happened and he looked at me and I was just going like this. He said, "Luke, you okay, man? My hands don't match." When we got it filled out, he said, "Okay, there's an urgent care down there. They know you're coming. It's 3 doors down. Can you walk there by yourself?" "Yeah, man, no problem. I live here." So I get out the door, and it's like, urgent care's to the left. So I start heading that way, and then I was in the woods. Thought, I think I went too far. So I turn around, and then I was in the urgent care, and then the doctor came out, and she said, "So, you came from the Goodwill, right?" Yeah, that was me." "All right, well, we ran a toxicology run on all the powdery stuff that you found." "Okay. It is a combination of methamphetamines, heroin, cocaine, fentanyl, and something else they couldn't identify." Quit after that. Now, one of the jobs that always stands out to me is any kind of warehouse job where you got to move stuff. My coworker and I will go about this all the time. When it is truck day and we have to move stuff up and down flights of stairs, that is when the little work wizard has cast greater swamp ass upon us. We know what's going to happen. We're carrying every crate in, and we're just going, like a cat about to cough up a hairball. And it's getting bad. Like, this is no longer greater swamp ass. This is swamp ass maximum. I am moister than an oyster. My butt cheeks are rubbing together like 2 cantaloupe halves. There is no friction left. Now, at one of my jobs, I had a coworker who, he was nice, but he didn't like working. Didn't like being there. And the way that we would have to do things is, at work, whenever you close down whatever you're making, you spend some time cleaning everything up so it's good to go for tomorrow. Well, our power went out halfway through the day. So I called our manager, like, okay, what do you want us to do here? And he said, well, we can start cleaning up now, and you guys can go home a little early, or we can wait it out, see if the power comes back on, and if not, just start cleaning when you usually would. So we did the math on it. We're like, okay, well, if we keep going and just wait it out and then leave when we're supposed to, that's about 10 more bucks. And my coworker's sitting there at the table, and he goes, tell him I'll give him 20 bucks to let me go home now. Haven't seen him in a while. I think he's dead. Now the other thing was, like, my coworkers and I will pick on each other, and I told my one coworker that he had fat fingers. And of all the things that I've said, apparently that's the one that hit his self-esteem a little bit. But like, no, I mean like relative to my fingers. Look at these witch fingers. I give someone a colonoscopy, they're not feeling a second of it. They call me the proctology wisp. You're fine. Your normal hands are big to me. Now, while I was at FSU, still in college, I became known for doing strange and unusual things. One of those things was not caring at all about what I did. I had a midterm coming up. It was on a Wednesday. The night before, I decided, yes, this is the time to drink. So I'm there drinking along, having a good time, watching a show on Netflix, and I get to my favorite episode and I hit play on it, and there's the opening titles, and then I blink and there's the credits. What happened there? Like, well, I wasn't really paying attention. Let's try this again. Really lock in on it this time. So I rewind, hit play, there's the opening credits, and there's the end. Ooh, I just blanked on 45 minutes of my life. And I got that midterm tomorrow. All right, well, let's see what time it is. Got to wake up at 8:30 so I can get there. I know that. Oh, dear God, it's 5 a.m. Well, I guess some sleep is better than none sleep. So I go to bed, wake up. I'm not hungover yet because it hasn't been long enough. I drive to school. I don't remember driving there, but I do know that was the one and only time that I parallel parked successfully. And when I got in, I sit down, and my friend Denise is in front of me. I go, hey, Denise, you want to know a secret? What? I'm drunk. She turns around. Are you kidding me? No. Goes, you know we have a midterm today? Yeah. So the midterm comes out, and I am beyond help. Like, my head feels weird looking at anything, and it's all short answer and an essay question on the back. So each short answer, I just wrote down first thing that came to my mind, got to the essay, I'm like, I'm not doing this shit. I drew a Pokemon, whole midterm, took me 13 minutes, and I left. So I'm hanging out where we always hang out, and after an hour, Denise and all of my friends show up. Now, it took them an hour because they took their time and did this midterm the way God intended. And at this point, all my other friends know what's going on. Denise has told them not to get me in trouble, but because she knows I find this hilarious, and I want them in on the joke. So we're sitting there, we're talking everything, and they're talking to me like I just got down after a spaceship landed. Dude, are you okay? That's crazy that you did that. You know your shirt's inside out, right? Then the scores come out, and Denise looks at hers. Now remember, she studied for 2 weeks. She took her time. She did what she was supposed to do. She got an 80. Oh, dear God. She goes, all right, Luke, time to see what you did. Okay. So I pull up my phone, see my grade, and I just stare at it. I went, ooh, Denise, you're not going to like this. Because it's okay. Whatever happens, we're here for you. I got a 95. You son of a bitch! And my social skills still suck. I feel bad for my friends because they spent so much of public school just building it up for me to have something, and depending on the situation, they melt away, like a snowman being peed on. One time, I was with my friend John. We were at Sheetz, and one of my ex-girlfriends walked in, and then another one walked in, and then the third one walked in, and apparently it was the We Hate Luke Club because the fourth one walked in. Social skills are gone. I get my bag of food, I sling it over my shoulder, I power walk out of there, I salute them as I'm walking by, and I'm just there muttering my incantations, double, double, toilet trouble, get this bitch out of my social bubble. Try dating apps, that's an interesting time for me. See, here's the thing. I'm not so great at the bios. I tried doing Tinder for a while, and I was like, I have no idea if this is any good. So I would bring it to my friends or relatives. But I don't want them to know it's me, so I tell them this is someone that I know. And then they read the bio, and then we all laugh at what an immature dumbass this person must be. I did get a match on Bumble one time. You ever been catfished? Yeah, this is one of those moments where we met up somewhere just so we could take a walk, and like I see her walking towards me, it's like, oh no. Gets closer, oh no, oh no! Something got wrong here. Now, I mean this in the nicest way. She was so ugly. So ugly. She also smelled like mothballs, which I didn't know you could do that before the age of 75. So first of all, I'm upwind this entire time, and it is the most boring story I've ever heard in my life. It's her life. Listening to that the whole time, like, oh my God, get me out of here. Now, I am good at getting out of situations, but I gotta make this look not too obvious. So I start telling her about my family, like, yeah, I got some cousins, I'm really close to them, like, they call if they need anything. One's actually coming down this weekend, he's bringing his kid. Yeah, it'll be fun, he's driving down through Morgantown. Then I let that simmer for about 20 minutes. Then I pretend to take a phone call, and with all the acting training I have, I'm there on my phone, talking to no one. What? What do you mean that happened? Oh God, that's awful! Oh my God, I'll be right there! Nothing to worry about, I'm on my way! And yes, I am moving like an animatronic the whole time. I go, hey, I'm sorry, my cousin's driving down through Morgantown, his car broke down, you know, it's really hot out, he wants me to go get him because he's got the kid with him. Yeah, no problem. Now, just to make sure that she's not going to figure out I'm lying, I got in my car and drove halfway to Morgantown, just in case she might be following me. Then I turn around, and on the way back, I am looking around for any sky blue sedan that could ruin this ruse. The date lasted 20 minutes, getting home took an hour and a half. Now, my friend John and I, we would go up to Morgantown to hang out with our friends a lot. We like driving together. It's fun. It's relaxing. His car was horrendous, but so was mine. His was somehow better. And as we get to this party, there are a couple of college girls there from WVU, and like these are definitely the I went to college just to party. Like they are trashy. They know the average penis size of the entire campus. Frankly, we don't want to be around them. They also smell kind of weird. And there was this one that kept following us around, specifically John. And it was like, are you sure you don't want to hook up? There's a bedroom right there. Like, he's fine. Like, we were this close to pretending that we were gay and even closer to proving it, just to get them to leave us alone. We've been dodging them for 2 hours, and the next morning we get in John's car, ready to be part of the witness protection program after that nonsense. He's in the driver's seat, I'm in the passenger seat, we're driving along, and that trashy girl sat up in the back seat. I don't know how she got in there. As we're driving, she leans forward, she goes, oh, so you two guys, are we doing this or what? And John and I, we look at each other, and it's one of those moments where we both have the same thought. And you know, every once in a while, it's unfortunate, but you get an instinct and you just have to act on it. First chance we got, we pulled over, we dropped her off in front of a church, and we drove home. Now, when we were driving home, John has a tradition where he hits a rest stop. A very specific rest stop. It's right on the state line. So we go in there, and it's that time. This one was not an island. This was a normal shit. I get in there, I push down the handle,
and this toilet just starts rattling and shaking like it's about to explode. And I see this air bubble coming through the pipe. As it comes through, the bubble bursts, and apparently I hit the turd eject button, and it is just there on the floor. And this is one of those moments where fight or flight kicks in. I chose flight. I kicked down the other stall, and John goes, "What are you doing?" I picked him up, carried him out of there, and I said, "We are leaving!" Unfortunately, my social skills don't improve. Went to a gym one time, I can't go there anymore. Because they have a bathroom, and it's not a door. There's a curtain in front of it, just that's how you know someone's in there. It was closed, and I'm not thinking anything of it, so I open the curtain like I'm the only person who ever existed. And I look over, and there's an Asian man squatted on the toilet, and he just looks up at me. And me, in all of my infinite wisdom, I went, "What are you doing?" And he just goes, yeah, so I went there, went home, and that was one of those moments where it's nice having pets around, because pets remind me that people forget, because they forget about me if I ever don't give them a treat. Now I got 4 pets. We got 2 dogs, we got 2 cats. There is a door on the house that leads to a screened-in porch, and there's a door there that leads outside. Now the cats, they don't go outside. They're not supposed to, no. And the dogs will hook up lines to them, they can go outside, and then they come back in. So I go home one night, it's 2 a.m. I'm like, all right, time to make sure the dogs are in. They weren't. So I open the door, they come in, like, take an inventory here. All right, there's a cat over there, there's a cat over here. Here come the 2 dogs. Unhook the lines. Then I look over. All right, dog number 1, dog number 2, there's cat number 1. Where's the other cat? I thought, you know what? Those lines make a little rattling sound when they go out the door. So she probably took off after it. You know, like she's a kitten, like she's this big, she's not gonna get that far. So I open the door and I see her about 10 feet away. So I pick her up, hold her really close so she doesn't freak out. I bring her back in, close the door behind me. Dog number 1, dog number 2, cat number 1, cat number 2. What happened there? Oh, I'm holding a skunk. Wasn't really sure what to do, so I just looked at him and went, "There's been a mistake." Took him back outside, put him back. Now, that's how I found out that baby skunks fucking meow. And the fact that the kitten was black and white didn't help. And I mean, I think holding him that close, like that's why I didn't get sprayed. He couldn't get a good angle. Maybe he couldn't even do that yet. But I also thought, how's this look from the skunk's perspective? Like he's there minding his own business, and the hand of God just plucks him and chastises him for leaving a home he has never seen, only to return him 5 minutes later. And then I thought, what's the mom skunk thinking about this? Like, did she just look over her shoulder and think, could have sworn I had 4 of those. Now, the unfortunate thing of going to college when I did was COVID kind of ended some things for us. Now, doing those classes online, that's tricky. They're performative classes. I'm a theater major. That's why I'm poor. And I'm very good at not doing things the way that they are intended. Like our teachers, they are sending us PDFs of the worksheets, and they're not even different from the answer keys. Like there was this one class, it was Shakespeare acting that I had to do. That does not translate online at all. My teacher, she sends us just the answer key with the questions on it, and the answers are redacted. There's a black highlighter over it. I'm like, okay, so can't do the easy way out. Because she did like some weird thing where you can't edit the highlighter. Like, okay, so the best way to go about this is just answer the questions the honest way, because I can't take care of that highlighter. However, there is always a way. What I can do is write down the questions, highlight the document, change the font to white, and boop, right there. So I did that. I write down the answers, dumb them down a little bit so it doesn't sound like her. Took about 20 minutes longer than just doing the damn worksheet, but I have an accomplishment to uphold.
And then we send them in, everyone sends them in, she starts sending back the grades, and she goes, all right, you did good, you did good. You guys should really see how Luke's doing this. He's very much showing off his skills. Yeah, that skill's deceit. Of course, I told Denise about that. She was furious. And then I had a directing class. Denise is also in that. We had a final. The final was supposed to be in person. You stage a scene, you direct it, you take 2 of the other meat puppets in the class, and you make them do your bidding. Couldn't do that. So what our teacher said was, you are going to write down in a binder, it's called a director's book. Going to show how you would do this thing if you were putting on the show. So it's like, okay, got to come up with costumes, got to stage it, this and that. Everyone's turning in these 15-page reports. He's like, I want you to present them over Zoom so there's still some performance aspect to it. I read from a blank piece of paper for 20 minutes. And then I get the email from my teacher saying that I had one of the best director's books he's ever heard from. I'm like, I have no idea what I even told you, so I'm just going to take your word for it. And then 5 minutes later, I get a very angry text. And the text says, that was ridiculous. I can't believe you did that. If you were in my class, I would have failed you instantly. I can't believe you did that. Like, it is an entire essay of everything that I did wrong and how much I suck as a human being. And I wasn't sure how to respond, so I just typed, thank you, Denise. Yeah, she's still angry. Talked to her about it like 2 weeks ago. She's still mad. Look, my point is, sometimes you just gotta learn to let things go. Now, here's something that pissed me off 4 years ago. So, when COVID happened and they sent us all away, my family decided, you know, why don't we go on vacation to Arizona, visit some relatives? I mean, plane tickets are only $30. So we do that, we get on the plane, having a good time, and then I had to go to the bathroom. I don't know if you've ever been on a airplane bathroom. That's not a bathroom. That's a coffin with a sink. So I go in there, close the door, unzip, start doing my thing. We hit turbulence. My stream is like a polygraph. It is going everywhere except where I need it to go. And in that situation, all I can do is let out a high-pitched When you make that sound in your toilet casket, it doesn't sound human. It sounds mechanical. They heard that, and they thought there was something wrong with the plane. So I'm in there for an extra 15 minutes cleaning up this tribute to Jackson Pollock. I come on out, everyone is in their seats, the fasten seatbelt sign is on, and they all look like they've made peace with their God. They're just... And I walk up, and the flight attendant sees me. I'm just kind of like, hey. She looks at me, she looks at the bathroom. You know that moment where you can see the dial-up connection in someone's head? She just kind of went. She got up, went straight to the cockpit, came back, sat down, fasten seatbelt sign turned off, and they gave everyone free drinks. Now, when we got back, I had a couple friends that invited me to house sit for them. They were out of town. They had 5 cats that I had to feed. Had 5 cats. Now they have 6. You thought one died. No, I took care of them. But they don't even have bowls. Like, it's just a big Tupperware container of food, like a storage tote. And I was running late for work one day, so I go in there, I open it, I'm not even making it fancy, just, woo, yeah, here's your trail mix, bitches. Feed them like pigeons in the park. Now, the car that I'm driving to get to this house, it is a 97 Cadillac. This is a midlife crisis crap wagon. This thing wasn't meant to see the light of day anymore. Brakes don't work. Wipers don't work. Radio works. But that's about it. Pull into the driveway. I open the door, and it is hot. I am wearing the baggiest clothes I own. And right when I get out, that door swings shut. And it locked by itself, because of course it did. And in the seat, I see my phone, my wallet, and my keys. Now, I didn't have a brick handy, so I had to come up with something else. I thought, okay, there is a Holiday Inn a quarter mile from here. If I walk up there, maybe they'll let me use their phone. I can call my mom. She can bring down a spare key. So I start walking. 45-minute walk, it's all uphill. It is July, it is hot. I am covered in leaves and bugs and bottle caps from wandering around. And I get up there, and in the parking lot, it dawns on me, ooh, I don't have a mask, and it's still COVID season. They might not let me in. Then I look over, and I see a car for a pizza place that lives near my house. I thought, you know, I might be able to bum a ride off him. Now, I'm very dehydrated at this point, so I walk up, knock on the window, looking as I did. He winds down the window, and I go, hey, man, can I get a ride to Frostburg? He goes, fuck off, cracky! And then he drove away. So now I have to go in, so I go in there, explain what's going on, and again, still no mask. So I sit down, and this Indian family walks in, and they are double masked. And the dad comes up, and he's staring at me, and I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. Comes over, he stares at me, he goes, where is your mask? I locked it in my car! Now, it's not enough that I made fun of this man's accent in front of his wife and children. It's not enough that his family thought it was hilarious. No, I think the real problem was when his girl gave me her phone number after I said that. I'm just looking at the post-it like, I can't come back from this. Now after summer ended, they did let us go back to school. Still COVID going on. They're kind of weird about the COVID tests, because they had a couple rules. Got to test every 3 days. If it's positive, go to hell. If the test is negative, you're going to act like you have it. But I don't have it. Yes, that is correct. So why am I acting like I have it? Because you might have it. But I took the test. The test said I was negative. Yes, we know how a negative test works. I don't think you do. See, here's the thing. COVID is like money. This test, you asked me if I have $5. I opened my wallet and showed you that it was empty. I don't have $5. You might think I have $5, but just because I act like I have $5 doesn't mean I have $5. You can be very sure that if you hang out with me long enough, I will give you $5. But I can't, because I don't fucking have it! Now, these COVID classes got a little bit screwy, but the thing is, like, we had a bunch of transfer kids come in, and I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. What the fuck is up with this hat? Nothing real fancy about it. I saw it, I liked it, I bought it. Everyone at school just got used to it being Luke's hat. That's Luke's hat, he wears it all the time. We got transfer kids that don't know that. I'm in one of my stage combat classes, and there's this really pretty girl. And she's talking to her friend, she goes, hey, who's the guy with the hat talking to Brian? She goes, oh, that's Luke. He's a senior this year. Oh, so is he, you know, is he special needs? No, he just likes wearing that hat. Done a couple of shows here ever since I graduated. Did one a while back where all of us got sick. I don't know if it was pneumonia or everyone got the same allergic reaction, but my one friend, she lost her voice first. She's talking, like the lines just aren't coming out, like it's... And our director's sitting there, this geriatric thing, and he looked up, he goes, okay, I'm sorry, are you okay? He goes, yeah, I'm okay. So then it's time for my lines. So I start talking, and I've lost my voice. So here's what's going on. He goes, okay, one minute. Are you making fun of her? Yeah, I'm that kind of prick. So he goes, so I'm like, no, I lost my voice too. He goes, okay, so what exactly is wrong with you? Pink eye. Take a wild fucking guess, dude. Those same friends, I had to help them move out of a house before. Now, they needed me for protection. See, my friend, it wasn't the greatest living environment. This thing that she's living with, not very accomplished. How unaccomplished? He's 32 and sleeps on an air mattress. It's that kind of situation. So, I'm there helping, I'm moving stuff out. I'm like, there's not a lot of room in my car. I don't even know where I'm going. Why exactly am I here? They said, well, you're protection. I'm what? They said, well, you know how they have like those Hell's Angels, like they're the biker gang that go sit with the abused kids in court? Like, yeah. They said, yeah, like they're big, intimidating. This is a purgatory Good Samaritan. Now, me being me, I couldn't stop myself from messing with this thing that lives there. Kept it subtle. See, there was a lot of stuff in that house that my friend actually owned. So, we're taking it. Air conditioner in his room, that's ours now. That air mattress belonged to her. Okay, well, we're not taking that. But I will stick a couple thumbtacks in the seam of it so it looks like there's an unstable leak and you have to replace it. There's something you can do. I made myself right at home. I went down to his kitchen, I opened the freezer, I just started eating curly fries right out of the bag. They're mine now. And then I thought, this guy really doesn't deserve nice things. So I opened the fridge, he had a pack of chicken in there, I took that out and just left it on the counter. I don't know if he ever found it. And when we finally left that house for good, I took one of his shoes and his nail clippers. I'm not sure where he is now, but I know he's walking funny. Did you just have a stroke? All right. Now in my life I've gone around, I've tried many various substances. Interesting times there. I was with my one cousin, and I tried some pot with him. Now, I'm not sure how familiar you are with it, but there are two strains. One of them hypes you up, one of them calms you down. I tried the one that hypes me up, which is already a bad idea because I idle at 75, and I had no control. Like, I'm just sitting there going, like, I'm tweaking out like a crackhead with Tourette's. He has no idea what to do with me. So me, in my infinite wisdom, I took one of the opposite things to try to mellow me out. Yeah, that didn't happen. They don't cancel each other out. They just coexist. It's like minty and spicy going together. One's cold, one's hot, but that's just hellfire when you put them together. And this poor guy, like, I am wandering around Hagerstown, feral. He had to catch me. I'm jumping out of the bushes and shit. He had to catch me with this big net that he uses to get snapping turtles out of a pond. There was one time I came to see a show here. I don't remember that show. There's 2 hours of my life that I cannot remember. Because before I came here, I drank 4 Bang energy drinks because I thought they were soda. They weren't. So I don't remember anything from that show, and I came here with a couple of my friends, and they said, Luke, are you okay to drive home? I go, yeah, it's fine, it's just caffeine. Now, I don't remember driving home, but when I got home, I woke up in my bed holding a rock, a feather, and someone else's parking ticket. That ticket was from Pennsylvania. Now, every once in a while, when you get high, you've got a bad time. Sometimes you go a little bit too far. There are levels to being high on any kind of pot. First, you get the little head fog. That's a nice one. Then you get couch lock. That's the second level down. Then you get to the third level that I didn't know existed called cerebral palsy. I'm lying in bed, and I desperately had to get up to go to the bathroom, but I can't move. I'm at that point. So I'm lying there, doing my best. This took 15 minutes. I throw myself out of bed, army crawl to a door, pull myself up to the doorknob, and my hands aren't doing the turny thing. So I just yell, there's a cat out there, and I go, that loosely translated to, hey, please open the door, you bastard. I was that desperate to ask the cat for help. And when I was with my other cousins a couple of times and a couple of their friends, we had these gummies. I don't know where they got them. That should have been the first red flag, but I don't think that was just pot in that one. Because that one, things started getting really tingly. Like, I'm seeing different lights, everything's breathing in a non-threatening kind of way, but it's still breathing. And I thought, you know what's gonna do us some good for this? Why don't we watch a movie? Jumanji was a bad choice. Now, I started working out. Not great at it, but I started doing that. And I mainly did that with my friend John. It was nice, but then he moved away, so I got to go there by myself now. I like going there at 2 in the morning because it's 24 hours and then I don't have to talk to people because I don't really like doing that. And I've got my headphones on, I'm listening to my music. That was a bad time for me to be there because in the back room, there were a couple of teenagers, and one of them is violently ODing. I did not help that atmosphere at all. There are 3 kids screaming into their phones to try to get the police to show up, and I am 20 feet away singing the Aladdin soundtrack. I'm just belting along, having the time of my life while I'm shoulder pressing. And these poor kids, it's doing nothing to help them, because I'm sure the cops think part of this is a joke if they hear that going on. Also, the kid that OD'd, what is his perspective? Like, he's just losing all of his faculties, his vision goes, his hearing is starting to go, and right before he is completely unresponsive, the last thing he hears is a disembodied voice saying, "You ain't never had a friend like me." Now, my friend that I went to the gym with, he really got into powerlifting, got really good at it. Went to a competition in Pittsburgh. I went to go watch him. Now, this one was on June 1st, and that's important. See, the way they do these powerlifting competitions is you got 3 lifts that they're going to go through, and they got to go through each one and rotate through with everybody in every weight class. So my friend's going to do his 3 lifts, but I got to wait like 3.5 hours in between each one, and frankly, I don't care about watching anyone else. So I just wander around Pittsburgh on my own. Got this hat with me. It's my lucky hat. Want to give some of that to John. Now, as I said, it's June 1st. As I'm wandering about, I find my way to the Pittsburgh Pride Festival. This is not Cumberland Pride that you might be used to. No, this is Pittsburgh Pride. They went all out. And unfortunately for me, the gays saw my hat and thought I was one of them. Now, I don't have a problem with the event itself, but I will say that thing was tailor-made to be annoying to me. First of all, I don't like flashy colors. I like them on me because I enjoy being a dandy. But I don't really like them on other people. See, here's the thing, that flashy colors kind of burn my retina. But if the flashy color's on you, you can pull it off, but you have to already be a little bit attractive. These sweaty, hairy meatballs weren't doing it. Another thing, I am not too fond of rainbows. I never liked them when I was a kid. It was always the most frustrating thing to me where all the other kids, they love the rainbows, and they're using to make every rainbow color, every project that we have has to be rainbow themed. I'm like, oh my God, pick a lane, Claire. We don't need 7 colors on this no smoking sign. It is a cigarette. Now, the other thing with it is, like, they've got a lot of flags. Flags everywhere. That is a load-bearing L, by the way. Lost under there. That's fine. There we go. Got one. Really. Okay, slow burn for 2 of you. I don't know what happened there with the rest. But anyway, they're walking around, and it really reminds me of the United Nations. There are flags everywhere. A lot of them look very similar, and I can't shake the feeling half of these people want to kill each other. But the thing, I will draw the line at this. I don't like seeing small kids at this thing when they aren't visibly with their parents. Like, I walk up, and there are a couple of kids here. I don't know how old they were. But there are 30 adults around them, and I know at most 2 of them were involved in those kids being created. So a lot of these adults are not the parents. I also didn't care for the environment here. Like, they're taking pictures of these kids while these adults are all wearing very provocative clothing, and it just gets worse. Like, what are these kids doing? Okay, first of all, they're holding very highly detailed penis plush toys, they are also holding popsicles that are shaped like very realistic penises. Now, it may just be me, but having said that, if any of you still don't have a problem with that description, apply for Nickelodeon. They'd love to have you. Just look at this situation, apply it in a context that is not Pride Month here, okay? Just imagine you're talking to the police. No specific reason, you're just giving them the report. So, there were 30 adults wearing lingerie, okay? Those kids were eating penisicles, okay? And they were barefoot. Ben, come here. Find out where Dan Schneider was on June 1st. I have one friend that I absolutely love to death. He's one of my favorite people in the world. His name's Donnie. And he is the one person that I have talked about who begged me to talk about him. Donnie's an interesting guy. First of all, one time he spent $50 acquiring 5 square feet of Scotland so that he would be legally recognized as a Scottish lord. And because he wouldn't shut up about that, I found a discount where I could get a kingdom twice his size, so I bought it and I named it Donnie Suxenberg. This then started both of us petitioning the Scottish government to allow us to declare war on each other. We never heard back from him, so technically it's a ceasefire. Now, one time I was hanging out at my cousin Zach's house, and he'll have Donnie over all the time. And Donnie loves hanging out with me, I love hanging out with him. So we get a hold of Donnie. We call him, like, hey man, you want to come? He goes, yeah, I'd love to. He goes, is it okay if I get high while I'm there? Zach goes, Donnie, you know I don't care what you do in my house. Go right ahead. I'm like, okay, I'll be up soon. So Zach looks at me, he goes, you ever seen Donnie when he's high? No? He's a fucking animal. So Donnie shows up, get the pleasantries out of the way, and he starts puffing away at his jazz cabbage. And then, like, he's starting to feel it, like you can see it. He's sitting on the floor, and he starts going like this, like he's going to put his hands behind his head. He gets to about here and goes, like, Donnie, what happened? He goes, I saw my hands, and I didn't know what they were going to do. Like, Donnie, they're your hands. I don't know what their agenda is, man. Like, okay. So then we decide we're going to do a bonfire in Zach's backyard. It's fenced in. Fence is like 8 feet tall. There's no way we can lose him. And it's a sliding glass door that leads outside. So Zach's holding it open, and Donnie's there at the threshold just going. Zach goes, Donnie, what are you doing? He goes, I don't know if the door's going to close on me. He goes, Donnie, I'm holding it open. I don't know what it's going to do, man. Donnie, get the hell outside. Zach just shakes his head. Jesus Christ. So we're out there, get the bonfire going, we're having a good time. And Donnie's coming down a little bit. He goes, okay, I think I'm starting to calm down. I think I'm starting to get it back. I go, okay, Donnie, we're going into the house for 2 minutes. We're going to get some snacks and some beers. Are you sure you're fine on your own? Yeah, man, I'm good. So Zach and I go and we get snacks. We come back. Donnie is not by that fire. He is in the corner of this fence, weeping uncontrollably. We run up to him like, Donnie, what happened? He goes, I looked at Zach, went, what did he say? Zach just goes, my neighbor turned on the porch light and it scared him. I went, Donnie, you're a fucking animal. No, I gotta tell you, I didn't think I'd get through a whole 2-hour stand-up special, and this is the last one that I'm going to be doing for a while. So, to everyone that knows me, I want to say thank you for coming, and I want to say thank you for loving me. Have a good night.